Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. So just to let you know before we begin, today again, 2 stories, both of them have updates. Now let's get started with the first one. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice and it's by user AdeptAdvance4650. Did my girlfriend just try to kill me? What do I do? So I'm posting this here because I feel like I'm going crazy. My girlfriend, 21 female, and I, 20 male, have been together for almost a year. We had a great relationship until this recent event. We're both in college and we had a Friendsgiving event to go to with our group. It was a potluck sort of thing. Everyone brings their own dish. I brought mac and cheese and my girlfriend also made some brownies. I'm only mentioning this because it's relevant, but I am deathly allergic to walnuts. My girlfriend knows this. If she gets me food, she makes sure there's none in whatever she brings, and I usually ask again just in case as a reminder because you would be surprised what is what in it. Later at the party, I was going to go over to have one, and I asked her to make sure there were no walnuts, and she said there weren't. I went ahead and ate one. Then, I began to feel a bit dizzy and nauseous. I went over to my girlfriend and mentioned I didn't feel so well, asking again about walnuts or cashews in the brownie, and she said no. She said I was fine and to just enjoy the party. Then I realized I was starting to break out into hives and my throat was itching, and I realized I was having a reaction. At this point, I felt my tongue start to swell up and I could feel my airway getting smaller, which is extremely scary as it means I was going into anaphylactic shock. I asked her for my EpiPen. I usually keep it in her purse when we go places since I don't have a bag, but she said it was in the car and ran out to get it. I used it on myself and had to go to the hospital. It was really embarrassing because I basically killed the party for everyone, but everyone was just glad I turned out okay. This is where there's a problem. I didn't eat anything at that party except the apple cider and that brownie. I asked my girlfriend about it again and she broke down crying, saying she did put them in there as it was in the recipe, but forgot when I asked. Apparently, she remembered after I had to go to the hospital and felt really embarrassed. It took so long to remember and didn't want to tell me. I feel like she's lying to me. She never buys anything or cooks with walnuts. She said she hates them. But then she puts them in brownies and then forgets she did after asking her twice and saying I'm going to eat them. She has known I'm deathly allergic ever since we started dating, and I just don't get how she forgot twice, especially if she literally made them 2 hours before. The problem is, if she did it on purpose, that literally makes no sense either. I don't see why she would ever do something like that, but I also don't see how it could be an accident. I'm just very confused and concerned. In all honesty, I really like her, but I'm tempted to leave after that because the whole ordeal was very scary and I can't help but blame it on her, but I'm also scared I'm overreacting and maybe it really was an accident. I'm just not sure. Will it be from the information and the analysis that you give in your post? I don't think this was any kind of accident. It seems to me like she tested you or something like we've heard on so many other weird Reddit stories where somebody decides to play with somebody else's life because they don't believe in allergies or they don't believe they're allergic or something like that. And of course, if that's the case, well then this relationship is done. And to me, that thing that tips me more to this scenario is that she made the conscious choice to buy them because she hates them and you can't have them. So I'm pretty sure you guys don't keep walnuts in stock just in case. So she had to go and buy them. She saw the recipe, saw that walnuts were in it, and said, yeah, I'm gonna get those, despite everything. Then at the store, got them. Then put them in the brownies and then told you they weren't in there. Now there is a chance I could be wrong, but that does not sound like an accident to me. Anyways, what do you guys think about this whole situation? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. The food has weed in it says, quote, if she gets me food, she makes sure there's none in whatever she brings me, end quote. Quote, she told me I was fine and to just enjoy the party, end quote. I'm not trying to encourage jumping to conclusions, but these 2 quotes are literally counts against her being just simply forgetful. Real sus. And OP responds, yeah, I agree, but purposely feeding them doesn't make a lot of sense either. A lot of other commenters point out that some people think others exaggerate how allergic they are to certain foods until they see a reaction firsthand. I think I'm just going to sit down and talk with her and ask if that's what it was. If it's true, I'll have to think about whether I want to work past that or not. Semantic Battle says, does she ever do weird stuff and end up the center of attention? Gets odd injuries, loses something vital, make y'all late, see doctors for stuff that seem overblown? The only scenario I could see is this being a neurotic attention grab. Like others say, some people legit believe allergies are somatic, others use them for attention. I know a lady that keeps accidentally exposing herself to peanuts when her husband spends too much time watching sports or working. It's usually at parties or around groups. It's nuts, no pun intended. Zimlum says, I'm curious, does it matter if your girlfriend kills you through negligence or through active intent? I mean, obviously, if she put the walnuts in intentionally and then lied to test your allergy, that's a very good reason to end things as soon as possible. But if she genuinely did it accidentally and legitimately forgot when you asked her several times, I mean, I don't think I'd want to keep someone around in my life who just sometimes accidentally poisons me. Your mileage may vary though. And OP responds, it's just really hard because we've been together for a while. I know this is most likely going to end with me breaking up with her, but it honestly just really hurts because it felt like we were really good for each other. When you phrase it like that though, it does make a lot of sense. Additional information from OP's comments. This whole thing to me simply makes no sense. Like, why would anyone do that? We don't even have any problems in our relationship. We're both happy and communicate often. On top of that, it's not like that's the sort of thing she would get away with. She literally brought the brownies. Like, what? They're homemade, that's why it's so confusing. I was at her apartment writing a paper in the other room when she made them. I feel like I could understand forgetting while buying the stuff or making them, but then after I asked twice and said I was feeling sick, like how does it not click in your head? Oh crap, I forgot! Until I'm literally going into shock. The whole thing is just so confusing. It just tasted like a brownie. I wasn't really paying attention because I asked her already. There were little crunchy bits in it, but I like crushed peanuts in my brownies. She knows this as I put them in my baked goods as substitutes. I'm allergic to walnuts, cashews, and almonds, but not peanuts. It's hard for me to wrap my head around this, but I guess mistakes do happen, so I think you're right in that I should just talk to her. It looked like she really did feel awful, so I probably shouldn't be so mean to her. Sometimes she gets a little unreasonable if she's having an episode. She's bipolar. But she's been taking medication and therapy, and she's made so much progress. I read another comment, and maybe I really am overreacting and she didn't mean to do it. But at the same time, there's also the possibility that she was testing my allergy. But still, my default wasn't just going to be, oh hey, she's lying straight to my face and giving me something that could kill me. If she was trying to prove that point, that is really effed up and I don't know if I can get past that. One thing I learned from this is that I should be responsible for my own EpiPen. I usually am, but it's kind of awkward to put in a pocket and her purse is just so convenient. It is still completely my fault and it's been drilled into my head since a child to always have it on me, but I'm stupid and still didn't. I called and asked to meet up and talk to her later today. I have a feeling I am going to end up breaking up with her even if she denies it. A lot of people have pointed out that me dying through negligence is still me dying even if she did legitimately forget. But man, this effing sucks. I really don't want to break up with her. I guess I just have to suck it up and do it, but I'm at least going to talk with her about it first. I'll post an update later. Alright, well the community raised some really good points for OP to think about, and OP did give us a bit of information there in the context about her being bipolar. So I ask you guys, do you think that could explain the accident? Let me know in the comment section. Now, let's move on to the update, but of course, here's another one of my playlists with only videos with updates. Now let's move on to the update. Thank you all for offering your input and support. I didn't expect that many people to respond, and the kind words really helped. After reading over the comments, I believe my girlfriend thought I was exaggerating and faking my allergy and tried testing me by purposely putting those walnuts in the brownies. Intentional or not, she almost killed me, and I was never going to be able to get that trust back. Someone who loves me would not do that to me. I called her and asked to talk at her apartment. When I got there, we sat down and began talking about it. I asked her about what I said above, and she vehemently denied it. I started to relist of all the stuff that happened and said I don't believe her. I also mentioned how she's forgetting that, planned or not, she almost killed me. She began going on this weird rant and got angrier and began calling me crazy for thinking she was even capable of that. So instead of trying to come up with a good reason, she just got angry and tried blaming me. When I held my ground, stayed calm and showed her that wasn't gonna work, that's when she started breaking down and sobbing uncontrollably. She was sitting next to me at the time and kind of threw herself into my arms. She didn't even say anything, she just sat there and sobbed. I felt bad, so I let her. I told her that I had been thinking, and while I don't believe her, it almost didn't matter because now I can never truly feel secure around her knowing she could forget something that could literally cost me my life. That was when she began trying to initiate sex with me. I turned her down and told her I'm breaking up with her before walking out of the room and driving home. I have been in an emotionally abusive relationship before. She knew what she was doing when she tried that. Something tells me she's off her medication again. She never acted like that except for her manic episodes. Really sad to end over something as stupid as a food allergy, but I'm not taking the chance. Anyway, she never admitted to adding the walnuts in on purpose, but the way she acted when she realized I wouldn't budge almost confirmed it for me. Still, I really wish she outright admitted it for closure because breaking up with her effing sucks. I know it's easy to look at this story and say I'm better off, but I really was happy dating her for almost a year and now I'm completely alone. I'm not sure why she did it or thought it would be worth proving a point, but I guess I just have to be okay with that. Either way, thank you everyone for helping me not let it slide and really standing up for myself, not giving into the BS. The advice was greatly appreciated. Extended from OP's comments. She sent me 27 messages in the past 2 hours, but I don't even want to look at them. I'm debating whether to just block her number and move on without checking. Her trying to manipulate me with sex was just really gross on her part. I'm not going to go into detail, but I was in an abusive relationship where my ex would do terrible crap to me and try to console me with sex to show me how much she loves me and didn't mean it. She knew that, and her doing it anyways was an especially low blow. That was the final straw. I do hope if it's her bipolar, she's able to get the help and support she needs, but it won't be from me. I need to move on. Well, OP, even though your relationship did end and you are sorry for it because you kind of still love her, this is a positive update to me. It's like many other people say, there just isn't an excuse, accidental or not, she put your life at risk. So thank you so much for sharing, OP, and all the best in the future. Take care. Now, let's move on to the next post that, like I said in the beginning of the video, also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user Salty Funnel Cake. Am I the a-hole for not making my boyfriend apologize to my mom and sister? So, I was talking on Zoom to my mom and sister Jen, fake name. At one point, my boyfriend came in and handed me some tea as I had killer menstrual cramps and tea helps. When Jen saw this, she said my boyfriend's actions were offensive to women and treating me like a fragile princess was enabling me. She said her husband doesn't help her whether she's well or sick, and that's how a partnership between equals works. This made me mad. My boyfriend is a sweetheart and he understands that this time can be painful for me, so he helps out in whatever he can. I told Jen that when I'm well, I take care of him as well. Pack his lunch, make him breakfast, etc. She got even angrier and congratulated me for becoming a 1950s housewife. This was crazy. I love taking care of my boyfriend. But that doesn't mean I'm giving up on my career. It's just that I'm a morning person, so I handle morning chores. He does nighttime chores. Jen went on about how offended she was until I left the call. Later, my mom, unbeknownst to me, texted my boyfriend and asked him to stop helping me out whenever I was Zooming because it upsets Jen. He didn't take her seriously, at which point she said he, an outsider, was disrupting internal family matters. This is the man who has made it abundantly clear that the minute our financials are in order, he's asking me to marry him. He lost it and said he'll take care of whoever he pleased in his own house. So this is where it might have gone into a-hole territory. As my mom persisted, my boyfriend said he had to look out for me since no one in my family would. This is not very far from the truth. Mom thinks older children always get the short end of the stick and has overcompensated by going the other way. E.g., I wasn't allowed to cry as a kid because younger children get it easier, so my problems were nothing in comparison to Jen's. I had to share my birthdays and milestones events with her so that she didn't feel bad. This used to hurt, but I've made my peace with it. Now my extended family is blowing up my phone, saying we were rude and hurt mom's feelings. I got a text from my mom saying she did her best to be a good parent, but she was only human. This made me feel terrible, to be honest. But then she added that she expected my boyfriend to apologize to her and Jen on Zoom in front of the entire extended family. I lost it. I'm not going to make him apologize for taking care of me just because they feel offended by it. So, am I the a-hole for not making my boyfriend apologize to my mom and sister? What? No, Opie, of course you're not the a-hole. What kind of an idiot would try to make— oh, sorry, your mom did. Yeah. She's totally the a-hole, and so is your sister. Like, how can you get offended because some boyfriend handed a cup of tea to his girlfriend when she was going through a rough time, and tea helps? Honestly, it sounds like the mental gymnastics that I would have to do to arrive at that conclusion is just too exhausting, and I don't want to do it. So I'm just gonna say, no, OP, you are not the a-hole. Your mom, dear sister, and apparently your whole extended family, if they're not being lied to, are a bunch of a-holes, and your boyfriend shouldn't apologize to anybody for taking care of you. And what do you guys think about this whole situation? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. So Uni says, not the a-hole. Wait, what the heck? Your sister thinks that a couple taking care of each other is sexist because her husband doesn't do the same? Did I understand that correctly? And then your mother went and said that your boyfriend needs to stop caring for you? What did I just read? OP, I'm very glad you found someone that takes care of you, and you of him, of course. Those types of relationships are goals in my opinion. I really don't understand the reaction from your family. To me, it seems more like your sister is jealous of you because her husband doesn't do the same. And your mother? Honestly, I don't even have comments. I just don't understand her reaction. Tyberry9595 says, not the a-holes, the F. Your sister seems miserable and jealous. You and your boyfriend shouldn't be responsible for that. He was just trying to do something nice. I'd love for someone to come in and hand me a warm drink when I'm on my period. Since when did it become 1950s to want to help someone in pain out? Wow. And your mom was rude to your boyfriend and literally neglected you as a kid. You and your boyfriend owe them absolutely zero apologies. This might be just me, but if that was my family, I'd be considering cutting them off. I'm so sorry you'll have to deal with that. Definitely no apologies from y'all. Fantastic Focus 7056 says, what the hell did I just read? You are not the a-hole and your boyfriend should most definitely not apologize to your family. If anyone in this situation should apologize, it's your sister for her crazy rant and your mom for going behind your back to tell your boyfriend he shouldn't do nice things for you. You and your partner are in a loving relationship in which you take care of each other. If they find that weird, they need to take a long, hard look at their own relationship. Quote, she said her husband doesn't help her whether she's well or sick, and that's how a partnership between equals works. End quote. Because this is absolute BS. Alright, well, the community absolutely agrees OP is not the a-hole, the family's weird, and they owe nobody an apology. So now, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. I did not expect this much support, smiley face. After reading your comments and a long talk with the boyfriend, I decided I need to cut ties with my mom and Jen. In fact, he pointed out that if we had kids, the mistreatment could extend to them as well, and that settled it for me. I blocked them both, and sure enough, relatives were calling and harassing me left, right, and center. I blocked all of them too, except an aunt and two cousins who actually took the time to listen to me and apologized. Honestly, I've never felt this scared but happy in my life. I'm literally shaking as I type this. Thank you guys so much. Had I not gotten such overwhelmingly amazing support on here, I might not have taken this step. Well, so apparently the community has helped OP see what's going on and she took action. Good on you, OP, for taking the toxic out of your life. Take care and all the best in the future. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.